Just tell me.
Good morning, everyone. Nick Good here with the Good Home Team at Keller Williams. I am joined with top Dallas-Fort Worth real estate agents, Elizabeth Austin. And today we want to talk about, do you really need to have representation when it comes to working and or building with a builder? And so with summer season now started, we just passed Memorial Weekend, and we're starting to see a lot of buyers inquire about buying a new construction home or building with a builder. So Elizabeth, tell us a little bit about what you're experiencing right now, because I know that when we were talking offline, you were kind of walking me through a little bit of a horror story that one of your clients went through.
Yeah, absolutely. So first of all, I've got a few clients right now who are looking to go the new construction route. A lot of people love a brand new home that no one's ever lived in. It also feels like maybe there could be less issues with it, which is kind of a misconception, actually. So there's a lot of things that you want to consider when you are buying or building new in a brand new community. But yeah, real quick, that horror story. So as a lot of people know, like, we're hardcore prospectors, and we help a lot of people who were unable to sell their home sell it. And that's one of the kind of bread and butters and basis of our business. So I was talking to this woman who had tried to sell twice before, expired off the market. And then I find out that she built this home new in, let's say, 2014, 2015, completely over improved the property for the area, for the neighborhood, to the point where she can't sell. And every 6 months, she's paying herself for a new appraisal to try and see if that appraised value is at a point yet where she can sell. So on my conversation with her, she didn't love me so much because I brought up if she had used an agent when buying and when building, and she said, no, of course not, because she was looking for a better deal, which is a big misconception we can jump into. And she on the phone was angry and said, are you telling me I can't sell this home right now because I didn't use an agent when I was building it? And a little bit, yeah, because unfortunately, a sales rep, they're not all bad, by the way, but a lot of sales reps are just not there. They're there to represent the builder. They are not licensed agents. They are not there to represent you. They're not so concerned if you're putting too much into this home, and they're really not going to red flag you on that. If you start to upgrade and add a lot of options to your home, they're just going to get more money out of pocket from you in order to go ahead and get the approval for all of those upgrades, but they're not here to warn you against future resale and if this is higher than what's going on in the neighborhood. So because of that, she was more than $75,000 overpriced for the neighborhood. And that's going to be, there's no hardship. She's not like behind on payments or anything like that. She simply wanted to move. It's going to be a long time where she's going to take a big financial hit before she's able to come out of that. And an agent is going to sit there and tell you these things are good for resale, these things are not. Maybe do this actually after you own the home, after you've closed on the home, or you need to consider not doing that, or at least have the conversation. Hey, if you're going to go put all these upgrades in, I need you to be realistic, and I need you to be aware that that's over improving for the neighborhood. And if you do need to get to a point where you're going to sell, it's going to be difficult. No one's here to ultimately stop you, but I'm at least here to advise you and make sure that you're completely aware of that first.
Absolutely. And if you're watching this live, we want to see some engagement going on this. So type L in the comments down below. We just want to make sure that we're beating that Facebook algorithm. So type L down below. And if you're watching the replay, type R, because we want to see who watches the replay. It's a little survey that we also do just to see how much engagement this video gets after we're finished with this live. But Elizabeth, you brought up that was a story about how she built without an agent and also was trying to resell it. So
right.
Let's go into, all right, I'm looking to sell my home, or maybe I'm a first-time home buyer looking to buy a house, and I only really want new construction. Mm-hmm. Is it, one, let's go into why we would need to have an agent, and two, is it better to build from the ground up, or is there a better opportunity for me to get a already built new build? Mm-hmm. What's called a spec home. So kind of just walk us through one of why do we need to have an agent when working with builders? And two, should I build from the ground up, or should I buy a spec home from the builder?
Sure. Okay. So why you need to have an agent. So first of all, an agent's completely free to you, by the way. The builder is going to pay my commission. You are going to get no greater discount by not using an agent. They're never going to give you my commission as a discount. And that is so crucial to know. Please, if you think I'm saying that just to get a commission, go check all of their websites. Commissions for agents come out of a builder's marketing budget. And at the end of the year, for all of the money for the people who bought but didn't use an agent, they take all of that money that's not discounted on your home, and they're going to take their top agents who sold the most with them, typically on a trip, on a cruise. You can go see this plastered all over Facebook and all over their websites. So please know that. The other thing, once again, is guiding you. Like when I'm sitting here and I'm working with my clients, I'm making sure that the builder's going to do things right. Typically, I myself, as well as I advise my clients, am never going more than 7 days without seeing the property, even if it's a quick stop by, to make sure that things are happening correctly. For instance, one of the things I'm checking, let me back up actually, as much as crucial as it can be for me to be there from the negotiation standpoint to make sure you're getting a good deal, you're getting full advantage of those incentives, and that all makes sense for market value. It's the actual build process too that's really crucial. So if you are building from the ground up, or you're taking over a spec that's maybe just framed or something, you want to make sure that like those floors and that slab concrete are really clean before they put carpet in. Otherwise, if not, and a lot of builders will throw this right over a bunch of shit on the floor. When you go to clean that, when you go to shampoo that, all of that's going to get sucked up into your carpet and make your carpet really gross. You want to make sure that before they sheetrock, that in between all the framing, that they actually have cleared all the trash out. Otherwise, this stuff lives in your home forever, and you would be shocked that builders don't necessarily do that. So these are some of the reasons. Walkthroughs with builders, as you start to catch things, as you start to recognize if things are done wrong. Most of the time, it's not intentional either, guys. Like, I'm not here to bash the builders. There's so many hands building this. It's human error, and it's simple things that can get overlooked. But when you are that one person who knows to look for this, you can help make sure this home truly gets built as properly as possible. I'm not here to tell someone they ultimately built the home wrong, but help advise them to make sure you get the best home possible. Deals as well. I'm here to advise you on the lenders. A lot of builders are going to tell you you can get great incentives and great closing costs, money for closing, if you use the builder's lender. Could be true. Could very well be true. A lot of the time, those incentives are offered by raising your interest rate or charging you more money elsewhere. It's really important to have that non-biased eye, that if an agent gives you their preferred lender and then you look at the builder's lender, you're truly looking at an apples to apples comparison for what's the best deal for you overall. And it could absolutely be this builder's lender, or it may be an outside lender who's not giving you upfront money, but maybe that better interest rate that's saving you monthly, that's going to be better for you in the long run. Okay, so when it comes to buying spec, or when it comes to building from the ground up, I honestly overall don't see too much of a difference as far as what's the better bang for your buck or what's better for you. It's going to come down to personal preference of how much do you want to choose your package, your cosmetic upgrades and stuff like that. You can still be pretty limited anyway, because builders have packages or certain vendors that they work with, and you can't always veer away too much from that depending on the builder you go with. So I don't know that I see a big difference there as from like you truly building from the ground up or buying something that the builder's already started.
The only leverage I've really seen is on a spec home. If it has been sitting there a little bit longer, you can be a little bit more aggressive on the price that you come in at, versus from the build up. A builder takes they take a blanket loan out on the land, right? So
actually, that's a really good point. Yeah, because if it's sitting there, or if another buyer started building it and then backed out, you can sometimes have a little bit more leverage then. This is why builders ask for sometimes hard money out of pocket for options and upgrades, because as someone starts to customize, if they back out later, it can be a lot harder for them to sell that product versus if they had designed it spec for themselves or for the community. So you can sometimes have a little bit more leverage in that case, which is actually something me and my clients just did. And we're getting $4,000 in upgrades. We're getting half off the lot premium. And then I'm getting about $6,000+ or so in additional like closing costs for them from the builder.
And is that, are they also having to use their preferred vendors in order to get those incentives?
Not all of those incentives. For like 3,000 of it, they would. And we're in the process right now of comparing apples to apples. So Perfect. We're taking over something that someone backed out of. Gotcha. And started to upgrade and customize. Excellent.
And then walk us through. So, let's say that you're a buyer, you put a home, you're building, or you're also got a spec home under contract. Should you do inspections on that? Because there's some buyers don't believe they should do inspections,
right?
And some do.
So And different agents are going to tell you different things. I'm going to always say yes because, once again, so many different hands in the pot here that are working that little things can happen. It's so typically unintentional, but I don't think it hurts to do it, even though with every builder, you essentially get what's called a 1-2-10 warranty. So even though that first year you could go back in and do an inspection at maybe the 10th month or something before your warranty ends and have them come in and fix everything for you, I think go ahead and why not? Because in your builder walkthroughs, those builders will fix everything for you if it's found wrong or deficient, unless there's a specific reason they did that maybe the inspector's unaware of. So I would absolutely recommend it. I think it's $400, $500 well spent. And then, like with resale with a seller, I can't go and take this whole report and say, fix it all. It's just not going to happen. They're not going to do it. But with a builder, first of all, there shouldn't be that much on the report. But if there is, I really can go to them and say, fix it all before we close. And I want to see that done before our final walkthrough.
And you said 1, 2, and 10. For the people that don't know what that means, explain
Okay,
the
so
1, 2, and 10 warranty.
That is what's really great, is that you're definitely going to get a warranty on a home, and it's called a 1-2-10 warranty. So that one is just for your first year. It's essentially bumper to bumper. Anything that goes wrong in the house, a tile breaks, something more serious, electrical, the builder, the warranty company that they work with is going to come in and fix it. 2-year is essentially things behind the walls, like if it's plumbing, if it's electrical, or maybe manufacturer, that's when they're going to come in. And then that 10-year is your structural, your foundation warranty that they're going to go and protect against. So it's great coverage for you.
Love it. And you know what I have found for resale value, right? Or in resale, the comfort, especially buying a pre-owned home within that 10-year gap, is with that foundation warranty. It is transferable. So that does give that peace of mind to that next home buyer within that 10 years of.
Oh, absolutely. I'm helping clients right now purchase a 2016. So we're still under that 10-year warranty, and like you wouldn't expect it for a 2016, but we did have some structural issues come up. So the seller's also being really great and willing to work with us, right? Because they're most likely not even going to come out of pocket for those expenses either. We're going to be able to tap the builder back in once we know more specifics from our structural engineer, and get them to come back and fix any issues that we have. So that's really great for peace of mind for my clients. And it's really great for that seller who is now not going to have to endure the expense of that. But I want to talk resale. Everyone thinks that new builds are so great because they're brand new, no one's lived in them. All of that's true. Something you have to be completely aware of is if you intend to sell this home in the next year or two, which I think is most likely no one's plan when they're buying a home, is to move that quickly. But shit happens. You move for your job, you have to relocate, or for whatever reason you have to get out of that community. So there's a few things that you want to be aware of. Is if there is at all the chance that you feel like you may have to move, this is when you definitely need the agent, making sure that you're right on par with market value. But be aware that it can be incredibly difficult to sell your now resale, regardless of how new it ultimately is or how little you live there, when you're up now competing against the builder. I think that is one of the biggest struggles I see amongst homeowners these days, because the builder is essentially going to hold down your level of appreciation as long as they are heavy building in that community. Because if the market were to go down, that builder can afford to give away more of their price, more incentives, more money to get products sold typically than a homeowner can. So you are kind of dependent on them raising their prices to help your market in your area, because if they lower them, it's going to be a direct impact on you, can make it incredibly difficult to sell. Something else we see is, like, the number one place right now that short sales are coming from, when people get behind on their mortgage or get behind on payments and need to sell the home, and maybe they owe more on the property than what they can sell for. The number one source of that right now is new construction. And I believe the number one reason why is a lot of lenders are going to quote you your monthly payment based off that home, and until you close on that home, when it's brand new, when it's being built, it's going to be based off unimproved property, meaning the taxes of the home are pretty much based off the land. This is when you need a great lender, which we'll always advise you of, who's going to estimate what your taxes will be and what your monthly payment will be, including that improved property, aka the house of the home or the house on the land. A lot of lenders, however, are going to tell you your payment initially based off unimproved property, just the land. So you will see your payment jump substantially from what you were quoted to what it actually is now that the house is improved. And with a lot of us, we live on a tight budget, right? Our budget month to month really matters. And so if your budget all of a sudden raises $150 a month, that can really kill some people. And that's something to be aware of, and just make sure you're having that conversation before you close on the home when you're looking at that opportunity.
Absolutely. And I will give, I had a family member just purchase a Beezer home, and the loan officer there, which is with one of our lenders that we actually use, USA Mortgage, and the core team did an amazing job with
he's awesome.
reminding, kind of reminding that home buyer, saying, hey, it's going to go up. In fact, they estimated their payment based on what they think that value is going to be in the next 12 months. So they kind of were helping them prepare that. So
absolutely. I've used that same lender for new builds, and he really helps guide my clients on that so that they never find themselves in that position. And he'll warn you too, on paper, it's going to look really great. It's going to look really low, but we've already prepared you that it's actually going to jump to this. And that way they're financially prepared for that. They're also financially prepared for that when they're setting aside money for taxes and insurance.
Absolutely. So. And if you're watching this live, go ahead and type L in the comments down below. And if you're watching the replay, type R, please. We're just so for us to see how far this algorithm goes with Facebook. So we would love for you to do that. I know you hate when I say that, but it's we want to see.
I don't mind.
I want to make sure that this is getting out there, because this is great stuff that you're giving out. So let's walk us through some of the frustrations, because look, going in, what I will say that a good builder sales rep is good at doing is making everyone feel warm and fuzzy, right?
Oh yeah,
they're amazing.
They're your best friend.
Absolutely, yeah. Right. They're ready to go drink and party with you and have a great time. They're ready to just invite you over for the family barbecue.
They want to be on that cruise ship with you at the end of the year.
Exactly, and then at the end of the day, once you sign that contract, it changes. So walk us through some of the frustrations that some of these home buyers can experience. So that way, they know what they're walking into.
So I think it's a few things. I think one of the biggest frustrations is communication from that sales rep. And that's going to be a frustration from the agent side as well, because once again, everyone plays nice in the beginning, but they do kind of love to not CC the agent on a lot of the communication that happens between the buyers, whether it's intentional or not. And I know they have a ton of builds going on. So that can be frustrating from the agent side, but it can also be frustrating to not get everything as timely as you want as a consumer as well. Because there's so much that they're going to just say that the consumer can't have control over. So they're going to be maybe with the builder trying to make a lot of decisions or not informing you of things until after they're done, or once the problem already exists and they're maybe a little less proactive, a little more reactive is kind of what I've seen. So I would say that is one of the number one frustrations. The other frustration I would say is, as agents, we are problem solvers. That is my job, right? So a lot of the times when you get involved with builders, like, there are moments when you have to get firm. Not always, but there are moments, because when problems arise, sometimes the builder won't go back and fix it. And it can be silly problems. Okay, for instance, I once had a client who was really frustrated with the brick job, the masonry work of a home, and essentially wanted the home completely rebricked. Totally wasn't going to happen. It is unrealistic to ask for that, but ultimately they did sloppy work, and it didn't look great on the home. And it sucks when you're building new to accept a property like that, even though structurally brick does nothing. It is really just a veneer, and it didn't affect the home. It's not going to affect the resale value really, but from a visual standpoint, it really sucks. And this was someone who had experience in that. So a lot of the time when you get problems, that's an extreme example, and let's be real, no one would fix that really, but you may just get a lot of pushback, and the instant answer is no. So as an agent who's always like, let me see what I can do, it's a lot more rare in the new construction realm to find a builder or a sales rep whose response is going to be, let me see what I can do, let me look into that. Almost always their initial response is just no, 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 no. And that's because they have set packages, they have set practices and systems that they're going to follow, and they don't know how to deviate from. So that level of service may not always be there, but you're going to feel like it is from your initial walkthrough, and you're not always going to know until you're in the process. And that still changes. That, let's not to throw shade on DR Horton. I've never had anything but a great experience with them, but I could have a bad experience at one community and have a completely different experience at another. So builder doesn't necessarily always matter. It can be community to community, and it can truly be the builder that you get or the sales rep that you get.
100%. And as we finish this, you kind of touched a little bit on this topic, but what are some of the incentives that home buyers are seeing when going with builders? Because we're starting to see that inventory level creep up, right?
Right.
So, the builders, what the builders like to do is throw money to attract
Oh, yeah.
to their community. So what are we kind of seeing, without putting you on the spot all the way, what are we seeing on some communities that these buyers can get incentives on?
So right now, kind of the one I mentioned is I have a buyer who we'll sign the contract today, but we went to the community last night, and it is 50% off the lot premium right now. And this goes until June 2nd. And I don't know if I should say the builder or the community or not, but it's 50% off the lot premium, $4,000 in upgrades from the builder paying the owner's title policy, which is going to lower their cash to close. Then if you use their preferred lender, then it's 1% of the sales price at closing cost and $3,000 towards closing costs, which is roughly, in this case, this was a $316,000 house. So from the builder's vendors, that's coming out to over $6,000 in incentives. And then from the builder itself, this came out to $9,000 plus the owner's title policy. So let's just call it like $11,500.
Perfect.
So,
perfect.
I mean, we're coming with some major money there. And sometimes they're incentivizing the agents as well to bring their clients out there. So they really have money when you are that homeowner who's looking to sell in your new build community. I mean, they're hitting you on both ends to kind of slightly work against you to work for themselves, which they
Absolutely.
should. But yeah, they've got a lot more money to give away.
Perfect. Well, if what I would like you to do, Elizabeth, go ahead and drop after this, drop your contact information in the comments down below. If you're thinking that you want to go and look at new builds or go the new build route, reach out to us. There is definitely a difference in real estate agents when it comes to buying a new construction home versus a pre-owned, just like there's a difference when it comes to real estate agents when it comes to selling your house. So
Absolutely.
We have specialists for all of that. So Elizabeth will drop her contact info down below, as well as if you have any questions for us or for Elizabeth, go ahead and leave them in the comments. She'll be happy to answer them. And then if there's anything else we can help you out with, just reach out to us.
Well, if you're an agent, I want to know kind of your feedback too. Like, do you agree with what my experience has been, what Nick's experience has been with these builders, or have you had something else, or totally, I don't know. Let us know. I'm always curious to learn what everyone else goes through as well.
Absolutely. Well, thank you for watching. We'll do this. I think we'll do another one next week. So if there's any questions you have, please drop your questions down below.
Bye.